Hey friends, it's Alison. This is the first official Outlander Drunkcast trigger warning. If you are a person who is triggered by sexual violence or the language of abusers, you might not want to listen to this episode. We will make it up to you in the future. If you're sticking with us, then enjoy the show. Oh, shit.
There we go. I used my scarf. Growlers are really heavy. Thanks.
God, that looks delicious.
We're going to get some.
So I came up with what I think is a pretty decent coping strategy for this episode.
Yeah.
Can I share it with you guys?
Please.
All right, so it went like this. I'd be watching the episode, and something terrible would happen. Mm-hmm. And inspired by Claire's literal closing her eyes and thinking of England in season 2, I decided every time something awful happened, I would stop, turn away, take a moment, and think of that goddamn Cookie Monster brooch. It would work. I'd go, well, which is appropriate because we see that Cookie Monster brooch in the scene where Jamie is getting his back turned into a Cornish game hen.
Yes.
So it's appropriate. And I would go, oh, Cookie Monster brooch.
Cookie Monster brooch is there.
Whoa.
That was really funny. You guys, sometimes in podcasting land, something goes wrong and then we stop and Aaron fixes it and then we just go back to doing things like nothing ever happened, and it's very weird.
In this case, I feel just compelled to share that I've been sick for I don't know, going on 3 weeks now. And the cold has moved mostly into my ears. Whatever Aaron just fixed means that now I'm only in one of my headphones. Mm-hmm. And it made me vaguely dizzy because I've been so clogged on one side or the other. And it is actually this ear that's mostly clogged, but I also have a headache on this side of my face. Mm-mm. It's all very confusing.
This is very sad.
Anyway.
Well, you look good.
Well, thank you.
Hey, that's our guest, you guys. We have a guest today.
Ding.
Whee!
I'm Alison.
I'm Julie.
That's Janine.
Hey.
And this is Outlander Drunkcast, an Outlander podcast featuring
Amanda Loudermilk.
Hi, that's me.
Yay! I'm so excited
Hello.
she's here. She's got a lot of stuff to talk to us about today because, okay, you guys, come in real close. Psst, psst, come away from Alison. So, I don't know if you picked this up last time, but I totally made Amanda watch the shittiest episode. And I really meant to make her watch the one that wasn't so horrible, but then she's a fucking trooper, and so she watched this one. But she also has a lot of sweet stories to tell us about her mother, who's obsessed with Outlander.
Hopefully that'll balance the
Exactly.
rape.
We can have something that's not so horrible.
Right.
And then kind of dance around the horrible.
And I think that's necessary in an episode where Blackjack Randall manages to ruin both Lavender and Sam Heughan's ass for us.
Yes.
Right? There are so few simple pleasures in this world, and that ass is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it really gave his arms a chance to shine.
That's true.
That
There's
is
a lot
true.
of good biceps.
And some thigh.
We did
get
see some
really good thigh.
Mighty thews. Mighty thews.
For the record, Julie kept talking about the previous episode being the worst one. So I've spent a week thinking that she thinks nailing a hand to a table is worse than repeated sexual assault.
That's what happened. So today I watched both episodes back to back. Ugh, gross. And I realized at the end of Wentworth Prison, I went, oh no. Oh no. And I texted Alison in all caps, we made a terrible mistake.
No, it's okay, I'm here for it.
It's okay, man. It's cool. So welcome to Amanda. We're so happy she's here. Now here we are, season 1, episode 16, To Ransom a Man's Soul. So we open and we get the little still shot of a rosary, a Bible, what I can only assume is a little bottle of lavender oil, and then whatever the stick thing is.
Well, that's why I wondered if maybe it was holy water, but it does look like there's a little flour in it.
And I think it's the same bottle that we see in the episode. So I don't know what the little stick is. The little
Also
metal
directed
thing.
by a woman, the
Wand.
same woman as the last episode.
Correct. What is her name?
I guess I probably should have written that down, huh?
No, that's good. Look, I wasn't even paying attention when it said that, so I'm the real bummer here.
Directed by Anna Forrester.
Okay, Anna Forrester.
I screened that last night. It's Foerster.
Forrester.
Forrester.
Yeah.
Forrester.
I was feeling particularly up in arms about lady directors this week, as not only was once again a woman not nominated for the Best Director Oscar. It never fucking happens. I don't know why. I was surprised. I wasn't surprised, in fact. But there were only 2 movies directed by women that were even nominated. Only 2. Toni Erdmann and The Woman, which is directed by a woman. And... I don't even remember what the other one was. Fuck.
We're the problem then, aren't we?
Right?
Yeah, of course it's us. Yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah. Anyway, sucks. And there's only one woman nominated for adapted screenplay, and it's the woman who wrote Hidden Figures. And
Which was very good. I saw it this week.
I enjoyed it.
I did
Isn't
too.
it lovely?
Yeah.
Was she also the first black woman to be nominated in Oscars?
No, there's the first African-American woman ever to be nominated for an editing Oscar.
Oh.
That was this time. So that's good.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a diverse, whatever. Now I've turned movie hate brain on. It's a more diverse Oscars than we usually see.
But still
But
not
still
enough
not
ladies.
at all, yeah.
But still
should
no
win.
ladies.
Moonlight should win. Moonlight should win.
No ladies.
Moonlight should win. Anyway,
Okay, so before we get
Anna Forrester, cheers to you.
Cheers
You did
to
a really
you.
good job, and you can tell because we hate it so much.
Yeah.
I really do.
It's the good hate. It's not the bad hate.
It's because it made me think about disgusting and sad things. So before we really, get into it, for lack of a better phrase,
God.
I'm sorry, you guys. It just happened. Amanda,
Yeah.
please tell me about your parents in Outlander.
Yeah, it does.
Well, my mom is a super fan. She, I asked her, how many times have you read them? She wasn't sure and said, maybe only 4. She's read the whole series at least 4 times.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Has she read the novellas too? Has she read all the Lord John and the?
I didn't ask that, but I'm almost certain if
Cool.
it exists, it has been read and multiple times, and probably the first couple books more. She always rereads the whole thing when something's about to.
So here's my second follow up.
Yeah.
Follow up. Do you have any idea if she's read The Outlandish Companion, parts 1 and 2?
Ooh.
If she hasn't, gift idea.
Yeah, her birthday's coming up.
The Outlandish Companion includes such gems as a floor plan for Lallybrock and all kinds of
Yeah,
information
you've
about
talked about this. It
herbs.
seems like
Yes.
great for her.
It's not the most gripping read, but as a person who has also read the books more than once, I enjoyed it.
Wow.
Your mom would probably love
She'll
it.
love
also,
it.
there's a cookbook. There's an Outlander cookbook.
She will not use that, but the rest of it she will enjoy so much.
Cool. Anyway, continue.
I actually.
Oh, Finding Fraser. She's read Finding Fraser too. Beth Locke is reading this book that her roommate got her for Christmas about a woman who goes to Scotland to find her own Jamie Fraser.
Oh.
I wondered if it wasn't that bitch. I wondered if it wasn't that bitch.
Oh man, I don't know if I can tell that story.
No, you can't.
There's too many people who know.
We'll just tell Allison later.
Yeah.
Okay.
If
You guys, we love you listeners, but
Yeah.
it's a private thing.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter, direct message me, and I'll tell you that story. But it is the tale of a woman desiring to go to Scotland to find her laird. So
Oh, I think I know this one. We'll
yeah.
revisit. Anyway.
Sorry.
Okay, continue.
So she said she loves certain scenes she will go back and read or rewatch. The one she brought up was the wedding, that she just has watched and read that many times.
I'm going to also guess the print shop. Amanda's mom, if you're listening, it's the print shop, right? It is. It is. Just trust me on this. She's read the print shop lots of times.
Now, when we listen to this together in a few weeks, she's going to make me pause so she can explain that reference.
You know what? Don't let her spoil that one for you.
Oh,
It's coming up soon. It'll happen in season 3.
Yeah, she was having trouble. She kept stopping herself from spoiling the story for me, which I thought was real generous.
That's very sweet.
It's nice, Mom.
Mrs. Loudermilk.
Yeah, She loves the characters. Like Jamie and Claire they speak to her and like they resonate with her soul. Part of it is she thinks there's a lot of like Jamie with like my dad. She sees a lot of that in him. So
Is your father also a weak seaman? How often does he go through shirts? That's what I want.
Yeah, does he wear a lot of shirts?
You know, I'm going to plead the fifth on talking about my father. His body / seaman.
Fair. No, his ability to sail.
Yeah, we're talking about nautical skills.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's better than Jamie at sailing.
Okay, good.
That's great.
I feel safe
Then
saying that sentence.
Amanda's
Okay.
dad,
Yeah.
1. Jamie Fraser, 0.
Yeah.
Not many men can say that.
Right. Well, so it's that there's this real protective masculine thing, but also this very sensitive side that appreciates strong women. Mm-hmm. It really gets her going. And but she also she has the same thing for Braveheart with the caveat of before Mel Gibson turned out to be just too bad.
But also not too bad for the Oscars.
Oh, God.
Not too bad for the Oscars. Oh. Yeah. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, she loves Highlander, but
Oh,
Christopher
yeah.
Lambert.
I mean, really,
Yeah,
who cares?
come
Man?
What?
You're into that?
He's
Yeah, that's a yes.
should watch Tarzan of Gray's Lake and tell me what you think of Christopher Lambert.
You know
after
what?
that.
Noted.
Noted.
I'm going to write that down.
He's
Tom,
he's a piece of man.
My fella's name is Tom. Tom once tried to convince me that Highlander is more iconic than Dirty Dancing.
He's
I
ridiculous.
took a Twitter poll about it, and it was not close. And Highlander got at least 1 vote, and I'm pretty sure that was Tom.
You know?
I feel like I didn't know about that poll.
Wow.
Because I would have voted Highlander.
It's pretty
More
More
iconic than Dirty
it's not
Dancing.
better. It's
You guys,
iconic.
ladies,
I knew about
remember.
Highlander before.
We're talking about
Dirty Dancing was definitely a sexual awakening for a lot of young women.
Right.
Men don't have that experience
Yes,
with it.
but men can probably quote it. At the very least, they know this thing.
They know the
right?
lift.
she's got her arms up. Everybody, the lift.
Yeah. Thanks for narrating. Yeah. I've got an imaginary Jennifer Grey above my head right now.
She's not that wide, but
And bam, another budding relationship ruined by a botched abortion. Oh, God.
Thank you, Brooke.
Guys, Brooke's going to rewrite Dirty Dancing
That's excellent.
for today's climate. It is going to be savage.
Sweet.
Anyway.
probably very similar though, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a botched abortion.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
she did it. Brooke did Dirty Dancing for Redacted. It was our first Redacted. So she has narration of Dirty
okay.
Dancing that includes the narration, bam, another budding relationship ruined by a botched abortion. But she's going to rewrite her narration of it for
now.
for the era.
All
that
right,
we shall not
we're getting
name. Continue.
distracted from
Parents.
Amanda's mother.
Yes.
Oh, well, so I asked her about a bunch of characters. So if there's any in particular that you want to hear her opinions on, she has
Murtagh.
Oh yeah, I mean
Murtagh,
obviously.
Pebblemoose.
Murtagh.
Murtagh, I left last because I wanted to warm her up. I'm going to say it like she did. Oh, yeah. Okay. I really love him. Sherry and Loudermilk's review.
What about
She loves his character. She said he's gruff on the outside, soft on the inside.
Ooh.
that's good.
And she said, he's loved before, which I thought was lovely and wistful.
Very wistful.
Yeah. She loves Jamie, so it's a big deal that he's
Okay,
a
what did she-
protector of Jamie.
What did she say about Jamie,
tell
though?
us.
I didn't
the
even
Jamie.
take a ton of notes. It's expansive.
Okay,
She
all right.
loves Jamie. Every
Right.
good quality, all the things he's not good at. She
knows all of it.
She's got that.
She's
going
gonna
to
judge me if I was wrong about which hand gets wrecked or which right.
It was definitely the left.
It was
what
the
then
left.
because he was forced to write with his right. Anyway, that's
Her mom, if she listens, her mom's going to be like,
that's not
these girls.
accurate.
These girls.
These kids sound like you're having fun.
All right, if we're going
Yeah.
down the Podlander crush list,
Yeah.
Murtagh would be 1.
Yeah.
Jamie would be 2. I mean, really, Jamie is 3, and 2 is Jenny. So, what does she think about Jenny?
Jenny, she likes her because she's a badass.
Yeah.
Agreed. She won't put up with shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like your mom's reviews.
Yep.
All right. Now, wait. So your dad is also into it, too.
Oh yeah, they have. Well, so interestingly, they have pretty different opinions about Dougal.
Ooh.
My mom thinks he's a little shit. That's a direct quote. A little shit. She
Dougal?
Yeah, because she loves Jamie, and anybody
right.
who tries to hone in on Jamie's territory, it's like, no,
little shit.
No way. Mm-hmm. My dad loves Dougal.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's his favorite non-Jamie Claire character.
Ooh. What did he say about him?
He said he's got his own agenda. You don't want to turn your back on him. Colin reminds him of the Scottish lairds of Braveheart, looking out for his clans, which... Oh, I went in a little bit to his review on Column. I apologize. That tonally didn't make a lot of sense. But he thinks that Dougal's complex, which is why he likes him.
But
It's a much more analytical perspective of, like, that makes an interesting narrative where my mom's like, Jamie and Claire, like, they have to be protected.
It's an emotional response.
Yeah.
I understand it.
Yeah.
I'm asking all kinds of inappropriate questions about your dad. Do you think your dad would define Dougal as a gilf?
Yeah. I kind of, yeah. I
He's
think
got
so.
that swag.
Graham McTavish has definitely got it
Dad,
going
I'll tell
on.
you what
Bullet
gilf means
scraping.
later. Or you can Google it so we don't have to talk about it.
Ever.
Yeah. And so he likes those complex characters.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So has your dad read the books?
Yes, he's read all the books and he's watched all of the show that has been out.
Wow.
Does he, is it, so it's rare for me to know of men that do it. I know one of my good friends, Amber, not the Amber, but my friend Amber Tomlinson, love you. Her dad, Gerald, who is a piece of work on himself. I can't even get into it. He's read all the books.
Wow.
And he started reading them when they came out.
Wow.
And he has been
OG.
trying to get Amber to fucking read that series for how many years now?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. And she's just like, no, Dad. No.
It's hard.
No. And then the podcast happens and she's like, so I'm going to have to read those fucking books my dad told me to read? So it's just really interesting. Like, your dad and Amber's dad are the only two dudes.
Yeah. Well, and he's also, I think, pretty unique. He's a baby boomer dude who's read them. But I don't think that I don't think he probably would have found them or read them if my mom were not so into it.
I wonder if that's what it is.
He's the kind of person who will read the favorite books of all the people he loves because he wants to know that thing that
What
you
a
care
nice
about.
quality. I think I might be developing a crush on your dad.
Her dad is
Totally
really
appropriate.
May
He's
I-
the nicest man.
Sidebar right here. When we were doing the down in front of Die Hard, her father was there to watch. And at one point, I was trying to find Neil to get a beer, and I couldn't
so
find him. And I waved, and her dad straight up stood up and bought me a beer and brought it to my table. Telling you, your crush just got deeper.
No, to be fair, he didn't.
God, I needed this.
His thought process wasn't, you would really love him. He very publicly renounced his Republican registration on Facebook before the election.
Oh.
And they live in Texas most of the time. And so he said that he was registering as a Democrat and had this huge thing and it didn't get enough traction. So he reposted on my wall because he knew there'd be more visibility. He's the best. But he didn't think, she needs a beer and, her husband doesn't see. He was just like, I guess she needs me to, she's asking me to buy a beer. Like,
Yeah, that's kind of how it went.
Yeah.
But whatever, I got a fucking beer.
yeah. He's generous.
So that was incredible.
Yeah.
That's very
They're,
nice.
they're a real power couple of kindness. Yeah. It's a lot of,
We're going to need more of those.
they're the sweetest baby angels.
Nice.
Yeah.
I want to ask about a couple more characters. Did
Yeah.
you ask your mom about Fergus?
No.
Okay. What about Angus and Rupert?
She thinks they're hilarious. She just said you need that comic relief, especially towards the end there. So
You know what? Fair.
I thought that was real on point.
That's true.
So,
That is
Like
very
when
true.
they're doing the drunk gambling.
Or at the end of this episode when he grabs her boob.
Yeah.
It's
Whatever. It's so
little
funny.
She brought
Waka
that
waka.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
She brought up that then he tries that kiss and she's like, and he just that guy like
He just had to grab her
Sorry.
boob.
yeah.
It's hilarious. Sorry.
I mean,
Sorry.
drink,
I know.
Julie, drink.
I know. I'm just really mad right now.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Let's see.
Yeah.
What about? Did you ask her? I know that we're going a little bit further afield here. Did you ask her about Monsieur Raymond?
No, so I didn't.
You stuck true to season one.
Season one.
I
No,
appreciate
'cause
that.
Je ne suis pas spoiler is what I thought maybe would be.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Ned Gowan? Did you ask about Ned Gowan?
Ooh, she thinks he's interesting. She said, literally, he's interesting, and she likes that he's by the books. He doesn't make exceptions, but she hinted at some future things.
Ooh,
And
Alison has
she
kind of sprinkled a little pepper of that nature towards me, but I'm trying to not know about it.
So she started to say something, and then she said, "I'll just say, I don't dislike him, but anybody who infringes on Jamie doesn't work for me." So like she has some strong Jamie feelings.
She really loves Jamie.
Oh yes,
My love for Ned Gowan is undiluted. So,
Yeah.
Even after you know.
So your mom and I differ in this way.
The one I asked her that I was really surprised at, because I've only watched the first season and I've read like part of the first book.
Okay.
Like 3 years ago. So I asked her about Galus,
Oh, of course.
and she goes, "The witch!" First off,
Oh my god. Oh, she's next.
she said she's messed up. She's a bad seed, referencing the iconic play and movie, The Bad Seed.
The Bad Seed.
Which was my childhood nickname until we watched the movie and I cried. But then she had another comment, but I'm gonna hold that back because I think it hints at some information that's in the book, and I don't know if it comes up in the show. But
Okay. Maybe if we take a station break, you can tell me.
yeah,
Okay.
perfect.
Station break.
Yeah.
Okay, that's incredible.
Is there anybody else? Anybody I wanted to ask about?
Well, there's the Randall men.
Oh, of course,
Yeah.
Frank Randall.
You hit me. I'm curious to her about her opinion about Frank.
Okay.
Opinions on Frank vary wildly.
So she said, and this is primarily book feelings, right?
Okay.
She said, "What a pussy." And then immediately said, "I'm so sorry. That is so derogatory. I shouldn't phrase it that way." Like she immediately like said it, heard it, tried to walk it back, couldn't think of a different descriptor, and ended by saying, I dislike that man." So
I want you to know that the first episode earlier, I actually said that word and then made Aaron stop so that we could start over
re-record.
again because I
Yeah.
didn't want to say it.
And to my mom's credit, I mean, she's a baby boomer, and both she and my dad have made like huge efforts to adopt more inclusive language. We
Right.
talked a lot about it, so it was just great because she said it and immediately was like, "Oh no, that's not the
Bless.
word. We
Now
don't
I
use
have a
that
crush
word."
on both your parents.
You should, yeah.
This
Yeah.
is very confusing.
What's
what
another
can
one?
she say about Jack Randall that we don't all feel about Jack Randall?
What did your dad say about Jack Randall?
He didn't. So he was kind of in and out of the conversation.
Okay.
In fact, like I asked them what they both thought of the sex in the show.
This is
in the
what I
book.
want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I have never asked my parents their opinions on sex. Like as like a what'd you like?
What worked for you, Mom?
So literally, like they were answering, and then at one point I was like, "Dad," she was like, "Oh no, he walked away to do something." But so I phrased it as, "What do you guys think of the sex in Outlander?" And my mom, before I even finished saying that, said, "I love it." And then my dad came in with a more cerebral comparison of nudity and sexuality as represented in Outlander as opposed to Game of Thrones, and how in Game of Thrones it's a little gratuitous and it doesn't always advance the narrative, but what he loves about the way it's used in Outlander is it does advance the narrative, and it is always an important point in like their relationship or in some sort of conflict that arises.
I have 2 points I want to make here.
Yeah.
One is that I completely agree with your dad. Diana Gabaldon has said that this is a story of a marriage, and sex is a fundamental part of a marriage. So there will always be sex in Outlander, and it's one of the things that draws them together. And that's like fundamentally the series is the story of this one marriage. Point 2, Mrs. Loudermilk. I have a real crush on your husband.
Wait, listen to her. So then she responded,
Oh, damn.
"You're going to love this based on what you just said." She said, "It is so integral to their relationship and marriage. I rate it 10 of 10 as important narrative structure. It's important to the story. That's a 10. She says it's an important part of marriage, and it's what holds them together when everything else is trying to pull them apart.
Mr. Laudermilk, I have a real crush on your wife.
Yeah. Both
This
appropriate.
is awesome. All right. Anything else? Any other thoughts from your folks that really stick out to you as something you need to share with the world?
You know what? Actually, I'm going to make a different request.
Yeah.
If you've got any other gems in there, will you please save them for the end when we're going to need them?
Oh, yeah. I'll save a
Okay.
couple. There's some real sweet things my mom said about my
See,
dad.
that's
I think we
exactly
need that
what
at the
we
end
need.
of
We're
this.
going to need that at the
Yes.
end.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you guys, that was really good. And we all had some
That was our
fun times.
Back to that
Amuse-bouche.
rosary oil wand and
Whatever
and-
that thing is.
I just pulled up my notes, and the first one I saw just says, Jesus, this is so awful.
Yeah. Well, my first note is Stampede!
All right. Well, no, we're
Trimmers. Speaking of trimmers.
God bless Trimmers.
Stampede.
No, first is you owe me a debt.
Yeah.
So we see Jamie and the beach.
We got this. We got this.
Jamie is just laying there.
With his arm hanging off the cot and his
Yeah.
eyes are big and vacant and he's just been used.
And you can
he
just
looks
see
like a rag
he
doll.
just
Yeah.
is empty and he's covered in blood and it's just awful. And then the beach gets up and we get a little dick shot.
We do get a little dick
You know,
shot.
would it kill the show to do some visible peen when it's not
Black Jack
horrifying?
Randall. Yeah.
Just a little. Just
a peek.
just the tip?
Can I just sneak a little peekaloo?
that'd be hard to film. Just the tip.
Can
Need
I
a table or
I'm fine with that.
piece of
Can I-
paper.
We already
or
got
something.
kilts. That seems like that would be easy.
Can I just sneak a little
Just,
peekaloo?
like pull it up just a little.
It's Sam Heughan's ween. That's really
I mean, there are any number of
Murtagh's
dingle
ween.
dangles
Murtagh's
that I
ween.
would willing, or the gilf.
Ooh, Dougal's ween. Yeah.
All of them. Why can't there be a shower
You know what?
scene?
You know
what? I would even accept the Frank Peen. I just don't want beach peen.
But now Beach Peen is forever married in my mind with Frank Peen, and I think that's a problem.
Well, but that might not be the case, depending on what he's doing with his jaw at the time.
All right.
Or how close his eyes are together.
Up top, bitch. That was very impressive.
I'm also a fan of the podcast. I don't know if I said that. I've listened to it.
So it's very obvious that Black Jack Randall has been continually assaulting Jamie for a period of time.
And when he says you owe me a debt, you can tell what he means is you promised to kill me. Mm-hmm. And it's just awful. Mm-hmm. And then
Here's the sound.
What does that sound like?
What does that sound?
Is it an earthquake?
Like a
Sounds a little
stomp.
like an
The
earthquake.
show. Stomp.
Oh, I was totally stumped. It was the cast of Bring Into Noise, Bring Into Funk.
And then
yeah.
and then we see the redcoats outside doing their drill. So there's also
Oh, we've got Foley.
Yeah.
We're bringing
there's
it up
all
a
sorts of
notch.
shit, but this is still underneath everything. There's something going on. And BJR can't rest until he finds the source of this sound.
So he puts on one of the 19 shirts he stole from Jamie
the one that's not sliced in half.
and goes wandering into the hallway, and he walks up to a door and he says, knock, knock.
Who's there?
No, well, somebody on the other side says knock, knock. And then he says, who's there? He looks through the window and he says, oh, it's only Moo.
And then the stampede.
Nailed it! And then 19 cows come running in.
19 cows run over the door. And
Was it only 19?
It
They
looked
filmed
like
it
a
like
lot
there were
more.
300.
But, in a narrow hallway, one cow is a lot.
One cow is a lot.
so they run down the door and crush Black Jack Randall. And I'm like, sweet, Black Jack Randall has been crushed under this door.
All right.
But you know what? When fucking Murtagh comes in after that, I'm like, why don't you just check to make sure that he is fucking dead?
I mean, it's complicated. It's 19 cows on a probably dead man's chest. Moo hoo hoo. And a bottle of unpasteurized milk.
Oh, yeah.
How many Scottish cows does it take to screw in a light bulb?
how many?
20. 19 to run through a prison, and 1 to touch a dick rack and travel to the future and learn how to be an electrician.
That's one of my favorite jokes, actually.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Good. Nope, that's it. That was I thought I wrote a lot of jokes, but I think it's just that we were so long.
Literally, though, why didn't they
Cows,
just kill
don't
him?
they weigh like half a ton?
Yes,
Literally?
they would have killed this man.
I just don't understand.
He takes a licking. Well,
No, you should not finish that
and
sentence.
keeps on ticking.
I was going to say dickin', but that's even worse.
That is worse. Oh, God. Anyway.
I already knew I was going to hell. All right, so
So-
he gets stampeded, and it's like, why didn't they make sure he was dead? And then we get treated to a whole bunch of
We
out
get
around.
Yeah.
where the
Well, we
red
also
coats-
A
get
bunch
the,
of people
like-
who've never seen cows before.
There's the traditional Outlander. Oh, here comes hijinks music.
Yes, exactly.
Infamously played during the spanking scene, but also elsewhere. Pretty much any time that Claire was getting hammered and making trouble, or Jamie would be like, I'm hilarious and funny and we should have sex now. You can.
But then, so it's all these redcoats with their guns, right? And there's all these cows. And I'm like, why don't they just shoot the cows? And then this joke just came to me. Oh, no. They shoot horses, don't they? You're welcome.
That's really good.
Thanks.
We tried really hard on the way here to come up with the perfect mad cow disease joke.
We just couldn't.
And mostly we just ended up telling jokes about White Castle.
So the cow stampede, everybody's all freaked out, whatever. Claire, they get Jamie out, frankly. They get Jamie out
Murtagh
into
and
a wagon.
Angus and Willie
Yeah.
go in and they cover Jamie up and Murtagh scoops him up just like he did with Claire in the last episode. They bring him out to this wagon. And
Claire's
take
waiting
the
there.
fuck
Why
off.
is Claire wearing pants?
because she's about to go to work, Julie.
I felt it was a little weird.
She had no time
She's
for a
a
dress.
modern woman.
She needed
She is a modern
she
woman.
needed to set those bones.
Yeah.
She was going to be doing medical stuff in the back of a wagon.
Right. I wondered if it wasn't intentional because in this episode she sort of takes on that leader, I know what to do role. Like
Maybe.
she's wearing the pants.
But then she's in a dress in the next scene.
You know what?
There
I
are
don't
a
know,
couple
man.
scenes yet.
Yeah, but well, she sets his hand in the pants, but then after that, we see her when she goes to confession that she's in the dress again.
Well, you know, only doctors can wear pants.
Only
and it's like-
doctors wear pants.
It's like,
Well,
that's a thing.
Also,
Yeah.
one would hope after 74 hours of hand surgery or however long it took that she would change her damn clothes.
Yeah.
Come on. There's
Well, of course, it just seemed-
juicy, gooey hand blood all over those pants. And they're
seemed
nice
like-
pants.
Sounds good when you say it like that.
It seemed like she was standing there by the wagon waiting to receive him in her pants and shirt, and that made it weirdly easier for him to
Right.
confuse her with Beej. I don't know. I don't know if that was on purpose or if it was like just a slide under the door thing. Like,
I really think that it was probably a combination of it being practical and her taking charge of the situation.
How many dresses do we think she's got on the road?
only the one.
So when she
Maybe
was
it
with
stinks.
Jack before and there was some throat slitting kind of stuff going on, it might be a dirty.
It might be gross.
She
Also-
crawled through bodies.
Oh yeah, she did
did.
crawl through dead
I
bodies.
wouldn't want to wear that dress.
No. And who knows what was going to happen? Maybe she was going to. They were all going to have to go running, and as we see her like running through the prison, holding her skirts and going like
with her tiny
with her
little
little shoes, right? Maybe she was like, no,
Not this
no.
time.
If we're staging a goddamn prison break with cows,
I'm wearing jeans.
pants. Come on, come on. I miss
So-
pants.
It's only so much.
They get him into the wagon, and he's obviously delirious and out of it. And Claire is trying to tend to him, and she smells the lavender. And she has this moment where she's like,
Did someone try to heal
"Did
him?
somebody try to help him?" Because obviously lavender is like kind of antibacterial and will help heal wounds and stuff. And then he groggily opens his eyes, and instead of seeing Claire, he sees Blackjack Randall. So he tries to choke a bitch out. And Claire is like obviously surprised. And then who punches him down? Who stops him? Rupert stops him, and he's like, "Stop!" And then they stop the wagon.
They haven't left yet. So they send Willie off to watch for redcoats. Luckily, they're easy to spot.
Yeah, they're wearing
Those coats. So he goes off to watch, right? And Angus and Rupert and Murtagh are all with her in the wagon, and they say, we need to go. And Claire keeps saying, no, he's like really fucking not doing well. I need to do some medical shit here. The second she tries, she gets choked out. So maybe it's time to go.
Let's go.
And then Rupert says, "Will you be wanting tea?
Let's
or
blow.
can I get this wagon moving?"
And they haul ass to.
I just love a Rupert one-liner. I just needed to get. There are so few moments of joy in this episode. I needed to get "Will you be wanting tea" in there. That's right up there with "I want to take a closer look at a musket ball."
I think at the beginning of this show, I really appreciated Angus because he was such a broad clown. But the more I watch it, Rupert really is the shit. As far as the rude mechanicals go, he's the one.
Well, he's the dry.
He's got a drier sense of humor. He's obviously
Angus
smarter.
is the
Smarter.
Yeah.
A little more romantic and weird.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So they get going and they end up at some abbey
Church.
somewhere. Some church. An abbey. Monks are walking around
An
with
abbey
a tonsure.
in
Is that what you call that
abbey.
haircut?
All I said was
Tonsure?
these monks are so generous
That
that,
sounds
they
right,
all
but,
voluntarily get bowl cuts. I do want to say that, like, head monk in charge, the HMIC, is played by Ian Hanmore, who's a total "hey, it's that monk."
Yeah.
He was the warlock in season 2 of Game of Thrones. If you're a
don't
Game of
watch
Thrones
the Game of
watcher,
Thrones.
he is a priest who worships a werewolf god in an episode of Doctor Who.
What?
Where werewolf priests kidnap Queen Victoria. I'm
I'm going to
I
need
think
you
I
to
read about this.
forward that episode to me
Tooth and
immediately.
Claw, it's
I would
called.
like to watch it.
It's great.
Okay.
Rose Tyler spends the entire episode trying to get Queen Victoria to say, "We are not amused." It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
That is a pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good episode.
You guys, you just brought British shit into this, and I know that British is around this, but I need to just cheers for one moment to John Hurt.
Oh, to John Hurt.
Oh.
God damn it.
Fucking good actor.
Great actor.
War
Good
doctor
actor.
and God damn it.
Mr.
All right.
Ollivander.
Sorry.
Huh?
He's Mr. Ollivander.
Yeah.
Fucking.
He's the Elephant Man.
1984.
Oh, God. Alien. He's the one that has the shit come out of his chest.
Yep.
He had to sell that, too. You know, nobody at the table knew that was
I love
happening,
that,
right?
that nobody knew. And
Nobody
you see
knew.
their faces like, oh, keep rolling. We're rolling. Okay.
Yeah, and they
Scream.
freak out,
Yeah.
right?
Anyway, great actor.
So now they're in the
life.
Abbey, and
Also,
then...
Mary Tyler Moore.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Okay.
Some idiot at my work was like, wasn't she in Golden Girls? I was like, I think you're thinking of the Mary Tyler Moore show. What the
What the fuck is... Or the Dick Van
Van
Dyke
Dyke
Show?
Or fucking
Dick Van
ordinary
Dyke?
people.
Yeah.
A few episodes of Rhoda.
Yeah, you're not thinking.
She
So
wore those pants on TV.
here's in my notes.
Like Claire.
Yo, yeah. That was her.
They were the first TV couple to share a bed too.
Well, I think I knew that.
I'd share a bed with Dick Van Dyke.
Oh, so would I.
I would too.
Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary.
But he's got to have the fucking chimney sweep shit on and a little dirt on his face.
A little dirt on his face and a
you've
little
got a
dirt down
type.
below.
I like him a little messy
Yeah.
and a little scruffy.
And you like a nice pair of thews.
I do like a nice pair of thews.
And a man with a job. I like that too.
Me too. Me too.
All right.
So my next note that I have after going to an abbey is flashback. I completely forgot that this is the way this happened.
My next note is
Sorry, Amanda.
at least
okay.
the rats
It's all
are
right.
having fun with that big dead body.
Oh man.
My next note after that is the boop on the nose is really below the belt.
Yeah.
Do you remember when he boops him on the nose? Mm-hmm. Like, come on, Beej. I get that Tobias Menzies is a gifted actor who can make pretty much any choice sing. But at a certain point, you have to go, no.
Too much.
This is a bridge too far. And for me, it was booping him on the goddamn nose.
Did he actually do boo?
Oh, yeah. He didn't
He
say
said
boop.
it. He went boop. It was crazy.
It was so weird because that's so
man.
modern.
Yeah.
But it was him, so it sounded like
Boop.
Oh,
Except, wait, I've got it jacked while I do it.
oh, I can hear the job.
and then he says, "Don't play the worm with me." Oh,
Oh, that's when he, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before that, pulls him up, and the one impressive thing in this scene is he's got to have an incredible core.
To lift that guy.
Yeah, Jamie's dead weighting, and I can't even lift my cat when it dead weights. Like,
And this
He
guy
just
weighs,
picks him
Jamie has to weigh at least 220, right? He's huge.
Yeah.
He's tall.
it's all on the shoulders. The
Yeah, it
thighs.
is. And it's very unbalanced.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do?
Well, we don't know how unbalanced it is.
Well,
There are some parts of that body that we haven't seen.
But if he'd like to come
There might
on the
be
podcast
all kinds of weight.
and let us
Let us take
check
a
it
look
out.
Sam Heughan, we promise to not sexually harass you
at
if you
your
wanna come
Walker
on the show.
shortbread.
Out
That'd be
loud.
great.
We will give you all kinds of Walker shortbread,
And beer.
and you could just talk for an hour while we all stare at you.
And wonder how you were ever crafted. How were you hewn?
And then at some point, I will probably summon the energy to say, "So, do you have Laura Donnelly's number?
Yeah, can we call her?
Because we'd like to."
Hang out with Jenny.
Yeah.
I'm actually reading his like bio and like little quotes he made. He says something for. I just like him. He's just talking about how he likes Battlestar Galactica and Star Trek. So he's now someone I like.
Oh, he's a big
What?
nerd.
I fucking
He's
like
pals with William Shatner. That's why
they're
William
buds.
Shatner is such a big Outlander fan.
Oh.
Yeah, he hangs out with the Shats. He actually calls them the Shats. That's true.
He,
I know he just got hotter to you,
This
didn't
is
he?
doing a lot for me right now.
yeah,
I
he's
love
one
Battlestar
of
Galactica. You wet my whistle.
delicious. He's one of many Outlander actors who either marched or tweeted their support for the Women's March in Washington. Global marches. Yeah, Catriona Beaufort marched in Edinburgh. Maybe by herself. I don't know if there was a march there, but every photo that she took, it was
by
just her.
She was the only person marching.
Maybe I don't.
That's pretty badass.
She went to the
seems
wrong place and was
verifiable.
like, I'll make
Maybe.
the most of it.
I'm gonna look it up.
But Tobias Mosley did, and Laura Donnelly did, and Sam Heughan did, and it was great. Also, forgot to mention, if you like a good costume drama where people stare at each other longingly, I can recommend Victoria on PBS.
I can't wait to start watching it. Oh my God.
You know who's in it?
Who?
Leary. She's good. She's playing a maid, and I've determined that she's got great maid face.
She does have maid face.
There's a lot of typecasting with these folks.
Well,
Yeah.
she does actually have maid face, though. Think about it. She
That
could
little
never.
upturned
Yeah,
nose.
she could never play a patrician. She just couldn't. Nobody would buy it.
She's a beautiful girl,
Of
but
course,
yeah.
but she's not Queen Victoria.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
sure.
Yeah.
That's Jenna Coleman also from Doctor Who.
Excellent.
But Leary is really good on the show. And it's
when they
English
started-
accent, not Scottish accent, and she does a really nice job. Nell Hudson.
When they started showing commercials for it like 3 months ago, I was like, Neil, we're watching that. So just get ready to like save up all your costume drama like coinage because it's happening. And then I forgot that it started a couple of weeks ago because I've been traveling a lot. And now he's like, when are we going to watch this?
Bless
Yeah.
him.
Bless.
Better watch it before PBS.
Oh, God.
I can't. I'm like reading articles while you guys are talking. It's the worst. I'm sorry.
So let's get back to the boop on the nose.
Okay, so he boops
goes
him on the nose because that's not enough. It's not enough to just destroy
it's
his
more
person.
abuser
Yeah.
language, right? It's all like, I think it's when he kisses him and says it's like kissing a corpse. You can do better than
Yeah.
that. I think that's when he boops him on the nose.
It
Yeah,
is.
It is.
It's just really,
the worst.
it's so
Ever?
upsetting, which means it's really well written, right?
Right,
It's
right.
and unflinching. And we're coming up on we're coming up on the thing that happened where I wrote, Jesus, this is so awful, which is after sexually assaulting Jamie by attempting to get him hard, he rapes him.
Yep.
And to make sure it all goes well, he hawks a giant
Spits in
loogie
his hand.
into his hand and lubes up Jamie's asshole with his own phlegm.
Yes, Janine, that happened.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
We cut from that to Claire doing apparently her 47th hour of surgery on Jamie's hand, and you see all the little sticky outy finger bones.
Right.
They look like
Which is somehow worse. Or no, I guess it's better for me than what we were just watching.
yes, absolutely. I'm
yeah.
like,
The
oh,
loogie hand.
great, disgusting, terrifying.
Yeah.
bones sticking out of hand and Claire sewing them up, and it's so awful. What a relief.
Yeah, well, thank
Right.
God.
That's very nice.
So,
Yeah, no, it's not awesome.
It's really rough. I took almost no notes.
I will say, from that first shot of seeing it just pull up Jamie's dead-eyed stare and all of this is so... It's the only thing I've ever seen that actually portrays sexual assault the way I feel like it feels. Like, it's so good and honest in that. I mean, it sucks, but...
I'm really glad you say that. In the last episode, Amanda talked about whether or not this is in any way gratuitous. And it's obviously not in the way that Game of Thrones is gratuitous.
Right.
But whether or not maybe rape should ever be used as like
Yeah.
a plot point. So I'm really curious to know your opinion on that. And I agree completely.
I think it's... For people who've experienced assault, incredibly triggering. But for people who haven't, in a way, necessary. I don't feel like Game of Thrones makes you feel this bad about all of the rapes that happen, which there's so many. And in the books, there are even more.
The rapes are about the men, especially on the show. That's why women get raped in Game of Thrones. It's always about the men. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Yeah. And so I just... as far as people who never have to experience assault, trying to feel empathy for what that situation is, I prefer that it be unflinching and horrible. If it happened every episode, I think I would throw up and die. But
Yeah. Well, and wouldn't watch it anymore.
yeah,
Couldn't.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. Really well said.
I also feel like if we didn't see those glimpses of how horrible it was, it wouldn't make Jamie's desire to die feel very realistic. In a sense, you don't get that end arc of that emotion for him if you can't horrifically visualize like the torture that he went through.
Yeah.
In a way, I feel I don't know.
It's not fun to watch, but
I think that's
It's terrible, but I think if you're gonna show it, they did it pretty much the best way I can imagine, which is making it as horrible and terrible.
Yeah, they're not coy about it.
Yeah.
And it's not ever remotely tittillating.
no.
Right.
Which is a thing that rape scenes in less well-written, well-directed, and well-acted pieces of art often are. They're intended to... there's nothing about this that's titillating. And you can tell because one of the most handsome men in the world is stark-ass naked through the whole thing, and it's not remotely appealing at all. You just feel... And God, you know what we haven't done yet? We haven't said, hey, Sam Heughan is really fucking good in these episodes.
You know what? He does. I actually wrote a
my
note
God.
about it, specifically this episode, not the flashbacks, but when he's actually talking to people in the Abbey.
he's great in the flashbacks,
No, he's
too.
great. He's great in Wentworth Prison too. That moment where he realizes that this is on and his eyes are like saucers. Like he did really step it up. And I appreciate that because he's good. He's not as good as some of the actors on the show. He really was exceptional in these two episodes.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I was wondering if they dilated his pupils.
They looked so big. They were like those anime contacts that people can get that make their eyes look like this.
It's one of two things. They either dilated his pupils, right? Because you could still see the like beautiful, beautiful color around them, but they either dilated his pupils or he was so in it that his pupils dilated naturally.
Then he did a George Bernard Shaw stage note, like eyes dilate.
Yes, totally.
Blush rises to cheeks.
Yes. It's just...
And I
He's
think,
so good. And we'll get to the scene when he starts to think that the beach is Claire, but I think he's
Right.
particularly good. But Julie, you're also right. All of his scenes with the monks,
Everything, yeah.
Is this a good transition to talking about the Gaelic scene, which is the next?
Yeah, because we haven't gotten to the full on like true horror, which is at the very end.
Yeah.
So
So Jamie's in the Abbey.
he's
wanting
very
to
obviously
die.
he just wants to die, and like he's not eating. And everybody's very concerned about it. And there just is this scene that just gets this beautiful scene that just gets boop dropped. Speaking of boop, gets dropped right in the middle, which is just Murtagh and Jamie speaking in Gaelic.
yeah.
We have no idea what they're saying, but of course we know what they're saying. And it's so beautiful.
That's one of my favorite scenes in the entire first season.
Me too.
In the
And it's
same
so
way you see
short.
like a movement theater piece and you're like, I get every second of this.
Right.
So
They're so good together, and it's very clear that Murtagh is trying to, rally Jamie or, remind him that so many people care about him, and Jamie is just like not having it. But it's all in Gaelic, and it's incredible. And it's also really incredible that they did not subtitle it.
yeah.
Well, because you don't need it.
No.
Because both those actors, again, Sam Heughan hitting it out of the park, but as always, the
Right.
Pamplemousse is just fucking
He's the best.
extraordinary. You don't need to know what they're saying. However, the internet will
Has
provide.
provide.
So, some of the Gaelic in this episode. At some point, Jamie says to Claire something that means, let me go die. I'm not going to even attempt to read Gaelic.
No, do it. That's fun.
Nah.
No. At some one of the scenes, Jamie says to Murtagh, "You must put an end to my torment." And Murtagh responds, "I won't listen to this."
That's got to be this scene. That's this scene.
He said, Angus says to Willie after Willie tells a story about his uncle, where he's like, "My uncle was like this after he lost his arm. He stopped eating." And Murtagh was like, "What happened to him?" And he goes, "He died."
He starved himself to death.
Angus says, "Shut your big mouth." Okay, so here's the Jamie Murtagh scene as much as they could get. How can I be left to this pain? Murtagh says, "We shall do our utmost to heal you." Jamie says, "Some things don't take healing, as is my desire. Put an end to this now." Murtagh, "I'll suffer no more of this." Jamie, "I won't get past this. Will you force me to beg?" Murtagh, "I gave a promise to your mother, peace on her soul, that no harm would come to you." Jamie, "Late is the hour, O Godfather." Murtagh, "And Claire, would she just be a widow forsaken? Your head's in the porridge. You're not thinking straight. You haven't a single thought for her." Jamie, "I haven't a single thought of anything but her."
Holy
have
shit.
chills on my goddamn body. That translation, by the way, is like some William Blake bullshit. That is beautiful.
Janine, I do not know what is wrong with your house, but it is very dusty in here.
Cite that. Who did that for us?
This was greatscottblog.com.
Yeah.
Great Scott,
God.
cultural musings of an outlandish nature.
That was great.
That's a
The
beautiful
Galdic
translation.
bits I could decipher. It looks like this woman got some help too from other people on the internet. The internet is great.
Yeah.
Also, you can follow her at rtidwell730, and I'm going to go ahead and find her on Twitter the day this episode airs and call her out for being amazing, because that's
Wow.
it's really wonderful.
Yeah.
That was really great. Anyway, so thank you, Great Scott Blog. That was I'm now just going to follow this. Oh, it looks like she is maybe either Scottish or Irish. It looks like an Irish name. Mostly that's just because it has an O in it. So
Classic Scottish name.
Oh.
Classic.
No, advising the Stars Outlander production. Maybe it's a fan site for this dude. I don't know. I'm confused. Anyway, regardless. Big fan. Mandy T. I don't know. So it's a great scene, and it was great before we knew all that. But Jesus. Cheers to the show.
It's okay. That's just my iPhone 7.
That was me knocking Amanda's iPhone off of the chair on which I was.
It looks
moving
good.
my
And look at
computer.
Ainsley. Look at the little photo of Ainsley.
Like, yeah.
Amanda has cats and dogs named after West Wing characters, so basically we're in love.
She's in love with my whole family. It's crazy. It's
So here we go. This is it. I don't really want to spend more time on it than I have to. Blackjack Randall basically breaks Jamie down so far that Jamie thinks that he is Claire, and then
With lavender, it's the lavender oil and the hair.
and the hair being down, but then acquiesces to a sexual encounter, and that in his mind, because he is so messed up, thinks it's Claire, and then has actual pleasure from it, and it's so upsetting because you can see that Blackjack Randall has actually achieved his ultimate goal, which is to crush this person to where he can control them. And he did it. He got all the way there. And this is why Jamie is so suicidal that is the term. He feels like
absolutely the term.
He left
because we skipped that scene where he asks Willie to kill him.
Yep.
And he tries to grab his dark.
His dark. I had that. He tried to that Willie will kill him, and I'm like, Willie won't.
Willie won't. You can't force Willie to kill you. Willie won't kill you.
Willie won't kill you. So we get to see the flashback of that happening, and that's when we realize.
We also skipped. Claire confronts Murtagh. Murtagh admits Jamie asked him to kill him, and Claire fucking straight up passes out. One of several times when you think maybe she's just overwhelmed by life, but maybe is also a little bit knocked up.
Yeah, something's
wrong. She pukes in this episode too.
I was so horrified through this whole episode, and I have not read the books, and I had not seen it before. I did not know or see it coming. Mm-hmm. So I just was just like, oh yeah, it sucks when you hear the love of your life wants to die. That's all that's happening.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just gonna throw.
That's what you're supposed to think.
That
right?
is, you're right. Yeah.
And the first time I watched it, I have read the books, and the first time I watched it, I just thought she was understandably distressed, very distressed.
Yeah.
All of the throwing up made perfect sense to me, and it wasn't until I watched it this time and I went, "Oh,
she's pregnant.
She's knocked up." Right? Forgot.
So she goes to like knock that. Oh, we forgot the confession scene too, which is so great.
We'll come back to it.
Okay, we'll come back. So she goes in to knock Jamie out of it, for lack of a better term. She is just gonna like shake him until he wakes up. She coats herself in lavender oil and really like tries to like break this thing. And what was it Murtagh said to her? Somebody's got to go into the darkness with him.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so she goes in, and then this is where we get the flashback of him actually like deriving pleasure from this horrible act
And having to brand himself.
and I wrote this note in quotes. This is when Blackjack says to him, "There is no more Claire," which is that's it. That's what he was trying to do.
Because he said, Claire's here, Claire's here, Claire's here, Claire's here. There is no more Claire.
As in, I have taken away the one thing in your mind, in your life, that was solid and meant something. I have destroyed it. I have killed it. And so that's why he can't look at her and he can't be touched by her, because he has been manipulated into such a corner it's anathema to him. He's just not there. And so when she comes back, and I guess in the book,
it's
more blood, sugar, sex magic.
I want to get blood sugar sex magic. I want to say one of the cool stories about Outlander that Amanda's mom absolutely knows is that
she does.
Diana Gabaldon wrote this novel for practice. She wrote Outlander because she wanted to write a novel, so she figured before she wrote one that was good, she would just write one to learn how. And then it was Outlander, and she got a book deal before it was finished.
Blump.
So when she was writing things like she writes fairly candidly about things like the nail through the hand, and some of the stuff at the end, she never imagined people would want to read it. She did not anticipate it being a hit. When she was writing it, she just thought she was writing for herself. But as she was revising, she started sharing chapters in this writing group that she was on some website years and years ago, early internet. It's probably an AOL chat room. And somebody in the chat room said, "Hey, my agent would really like this. Can I send this to my agent?" And she said yes, and then got a book deal.
Who the hell is that person?
Right? Somebody
Wow.
awesome. So she never imagined that this stuff at the end was going to be taken seriously. She thought she was just writing for herself. And I do honestly think that it's good. Yes, the Jesus thing is a bit much. But the thing that's always been complicated for
Hitting
me is
the nail
in
on the head.
book,
I'm sorry.
it is strongly implied.
Get out.
It was right there. Oh, I can't get out. I'm trapped.
In the book, it is strongly implied that Jamie and Claire have sex when she's sort of disguised as Blackjack Randall for his senses. So she coats herself in lavender oil and forces him to fight back. And what she's doing is giving him an opportunity to resist when he promised to not resist so that she could survive.
Right.
Which is, I mean, that's wonderful, right? But it ends up being this sort of like witchy sex magic that's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Like it's like a
And also
immersion therapy.
And also doesn't make much sense for a person who is that traumatized around sexual
Yes.
issues to just be
So,
able to get it up right away.
Totally.
Like,
So thematically makes perfect sense. Like giving him the opportunity to fight back, which I think the equivalent is letting Murtagh cut the brand off of him and not wanting any painkiller while it's happening. I think that's the
Right.
equivalent moment. But it's just funny that there's this glimpse. It's like hearing the wolves howl in the previous episode. Then she doesn't fight a pack of wolves. She fights a pack of wolves in the book.
Yeah, normal stuff.
yeah, it just says fucking Thursday.
Wow.
Whatever.
Here, she tricks his senses into associating her with Blackjack Randall, so that he can go to the dark place, and then that's it. And then they just have a conversation, which is the right choice, but it's not what happens in the book.
Yeah. Well,
But that's where you find out that basically he's driven to extreme shame because this man, he thinks, poisoned the most important thing in his life.
Because he doesn't understand Stockholm Syndrome because it hasn't been
Named.
named by several hundred years.
It's
And
Can't
also,
help it,
like-
psychology wasn't there.
Yeah, he can't help the fact that he has no way to get out of this situation. He can't help the physiological response of his body. And that's a big thing. Like, I know this is about Hubbard movie. What's it called?
L.
L. I don't know much about it, but the stuff that I've read about it, it talks about the physiological response that happens in your body. Sometimes you can't control it. And that is going to wreck your brain.
Right.
Because there are going to be times where you're like, I had an orgasm when I got raped. What? And it's not because you wanted to be raped. It's because your body is, this shit's
Yeah.
independent of your brain.
To Amanda's point earlier, I think that's another thing that when is that ever addressed?
Right.
Never when people
this
talk
aspect
about rape.
of sexual assault, I just have never seen.
Yeah.
This very real part of it where people
Yeah.
think they deserve it or that they wanted it or asked for it. And he sets him up often when I think you do see sexual assault in film and TV. It's very, very forced. And he sets him up for this breakdown by making him agree to it. Which is just, makes my stomach.
Yeah.
But
It actually reminds me a little bit of, in a very different way, of the scene in I'm not spoiling Mad Men for anybody. At this point, if you haven't watched Mad Men, this like you should watch it, but I'm not going to protect you from spoilers. The scene where
Coca-Cola, that's what he
Joan
does.
gets raped in Mad Men, where it's her fiance. And again, like, women are more likely to be raped by a partner than anyone. Someone they know specifically, but often a partner. And she just sort of lays there. It's like she struggles for a minute and then she just gives up. And she just gets this vacant look in her eyes and she just lays there. It's like, okay, well, this is happening to me. And I was like, that's good that we're seeing that. Because often it's like 30 seconds of a woman kicking and screaming and then sobbing alone in whatever alley she just got caught in, right? As opposed to on the floor of her boss's office with a bouquet of roses next to her,
Right.
You know? Anyway, it's very upsetting. And also, he not only ruined his marriage, he ruined lavender. Who ruins lavender for somebody?
monsters.
I know. His
Fucking monsters.
choices of like artisanal cookies and nice candles and bath products.
Yeah, you
have
ruined
just
them all.
diminished by half.
Grandmas everywhere weep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, this grandma.
This one too.
Everything in my house is lavender.
So they break through to the other side.
Oh boy.
Jamie feels a little better. Not great. Obviously, this will be with him for his entire life. But they realize they can't stay at the Abbey forever and they got to get out of Dodge. So Murtagh goes and gets them a boat. And they're going to go to Paris.
Aboard the Christabel.
The Cristobal. And so they go get on a boat
Well, that was a good accent.
and leave. And that's kind of it. There's a cute
have their
goodbye
nice
sequence.
goodbyes,
yeah.
There's a cute goodbye sequence. What do you think about Angus grabbing her boob?
You know, I didn't love it. Mm-hmm. I know that was one of the few moments where I was like, but it is very much that character, and she responds so
time period.
playfully, and I don't feel like Claire as a character would unless she felt that truly.
Right.
So
right.
I have never had that sort of sibling-esque
Yes.
goof on each other's bodies relationship, but I can appreciate that other people might.
Right.
I will also say, while it's not, it's more like a consent loophole, but he does say, "Can I kiss you goodbye?"
Right.
And she says, "No, but you can kiss me au revoir."
Yeah.
And then
He goes in for a full grab.
he
I
just,
kind of feel like his version of one-upping is just bad, but she essentially zings him, and then he's like, all right.
I'm going to grab your tit now.
Gotcha.
yeah.
And then,
And she is also wearing like 19 garments.
but still, he grabbed
Yeah.
her boob.
Oh no,
Whatever.
it sucks.
Yeah.
But
So that happens. But then Rupert is like, "Madam."
gentlemanly.
And then he takes her hand and he kisses it very delicately. And I'm like, Rupert.
All right, man.
All right, you cool.
You're climbing the Podlander Drunk Cast crush list.
Yeah, you're getting up there, man. You're probably like number 12 now.
Yeah.
So then they get on the boat, and they're on the boat. And we can tell that Jamie does not like being on a boat. Here's where we find out. Weak semen.
Weak semen.
Weak semen.
But guess whose semen is weaker? Frank's.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, pow, Claire's pregnant. This explains a lot of the barfing and a lot of other shit. But Jamie is surprised and says, "I didn't think you could." And we're like, "No, honey, Frank couldn't."
Yeah.
Frank rhymes with blank. Just saying. That just came to me.
That must be intentional.
I don't know. I think they came. I think really
Must be
Diana Gabaldon
intentional.
really did
It's
that on
an Easter
purpose.
egg, and you found it. You're
I
the
did.
first one.
Kiss her 93 FM. Do I win $500?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have a nice moment where she says, "Are you happy? Are you glad?" Whatever she says. And he says, "I did not think it was possible. But yes, I'm very happy."
And then they hug.
It's very nice.
And it's very nice. And that's the end of the episode and the end of season 1.
But before that,
Yeah.
they have a time travel conversation.
Oh my God. I almost forgot. Thank you. Please
Yeah.
tell us.
So Claire's like, "You know what's coming, right? Death of the island culture, bloodshed,
a lot more.
terrible
things.
things. That's happening." He's like, "Yep, well, all we can do is play our part." And she says, "But is it?"
What if we change it? And I immediately just wrote in my notebook, Skynet.
Oh, we're not talking that.
Nope.
Yeah.
All right. That was pretty upsetting.
Shit.
So that's kind of the end of the episode. They sail away to France. It's the end
We
of
did
season
skip
1.
the confession.
Oh,
We did say we'll come back to the confession.
We can talk about it briefly, but it's basically just Claire
nice scene.
unburdening herself just like she did to Jamie. So she tells this poor monk everything. And I'm like, this poor guy.
Is that in the book?
Yeah. In the book, it's a longer relationship.
Okay.
Also, there's a thing in the book where, so that Abby is actually in France, and the reason they're there is because Jamie has yet another relative. It's a sibling, maybe of his dad. Maybe it's a Mackenzie, I can't remember. But who is a monk there, who's like the actual HMIC.
So he's the one that hears this confession.
I believe so, yeah. But
Interesting.
then they develop a relationship because they're there for months in the book. They're there
Okay.
for a long time. It's drawn out how slowly he's willing himself to die. And she tells him everything and he believes her and counsels her on how it's not actually a sin that she's married to 2 people at once, because how can you be married to 2 people at once when one of them hasn't been born yet?
I wonder how God feels about that little loophole.
Right. But he
God
believes
knows.
her
God, if you want to call into the
immediately.
podcast.
God, if you need to post on our Facebook page.
It's
or-
facebook.com/podlandercast.
I just got a
Just
chat.
please tell us. No way. God, oh my God, God is listening.
God, how could you do this to us?
God, where are you?
He says YOLO.
Shit.
Okay. All right.
He would be a bro.
He would be a fucking bro.
I'm sorry, she would not be a bro. Anyway, I'm an atheist, so it's in the book. I mean, that happens.
Yeah.
Only it's
more developed. It makes more
it's
sense.
a deeper relationship, and it's not just that he's like, whoa, a miracle, but he accepts what she says immediately and then
'Cause-
counsels her.
In the show, it really felt like she didn't want to talk about it. Then she was like, really? Let's do this.
Wow.
And then she fucking turns all over that poor monk.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, oh God, oh my God, the whole time. And then he's like, what am I going to do with this information? And I was just like, that poor monk.
Yeah.
He's got to live with that for the
in
rest of his
book-
life.
In the book, it's a more drawn out thing, but it definitely happens. But I really like that scene. I think that the
actor was
monk
very
is
good.
very good. She does a nice job. It's the rare Outlander voiceover montage that I can get behind.
It was all right. I hate the voiceover shit.
I don't like them either.
I know they have to do it.
I actually, the beginning of that scene, I was not on board when he's like, "Are you praying?" And she's like, "No, I'm just thinking." And he's like, "You want to confess?"
Yeah, like, you
like,
want to tell me
dude,
about what you're thinking about?
Just a lady in a room. She doesn't necessarily have to have sinned all over the place.
She
But
can't
I
help it.
appreciated then that he didn't deny her reality.
Right.
Right.
A lot of priests do.
Yeah, yeah,
So-
yeah, they do.
Well, it's
kind of
also
their job.
a nice. It creates this nice parallel between Claire and Jamie, and that they both somehow think it's their fault. This horrific thing that happened to Jamie, but really to both of them. I mean, she's also assaulted by Blackjack Randall, but that has happened to them as a couple. That they both somehow think it's them, and it's not. It's neither of them. It's their fault. I mean, like, Claire shouldn't be drunk and time travel at the same time, but this time she had nothing to do with that.
Yeah. It's not your fault.
Nope.
Not your fault.
It's not your fault. It's not
your fault.
It's not your fault. It's
Don't you
not your
fucking do
fault.
that, Sean.
You and
Don't you
I,
fucking-
you and I are gonna be friends, Amanda. I told you. Don't you fucking do that, Sean.
told you.
Don't you fucking do that, Sean.
So that's the end of the episode. For real. So
made it.
can we, I know we did, we made it. We actually, I think it was way better than I would have predicted.
Well, we got the Laudermilks on Outlander at the top.
Yeah.
That
which was
nice.
good.
We get some cow jokes.
And we did get some cow jokes. We did not dwell on the things that
Yeah.
shouldn't have been dwelt on.
I didn't even say "Let's kill Hitler." I was really planning on that. I wrote "Let's kill Hitler."
Skynet. Let's kill Hitler. So, are
No
we doing
scales.
scales? The only scale that I thought of for this one, and this one I actively had the thought. This is the second time I've seen this motherfucking episode, and I will never watch it again. And that made me think of one thing and one thing only. Requiem for a Dream.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, totally.
Good movie.
Never
Never gonna
again.
watch that again.
It took me
Yeah.
10 years to come back to that. And
I can't.
when
Oh, I
did,
won't ever
was
see it
like,
again.
Why the fuck did I do this?
Yeah, I can't.
Like, it was a great movie, but I didn't need to watch it again. Fuck
It's upsetting.
It's very upsetting.
Yeah.
I might someday watch it again. I
No,
can
I
see
can't.
myself in, I don't know, years doing a rewatch of the whole series.
Ugh.
And if I was rewatching the whole series, I would not skip this one.
I would
speaking of the West
remember
Wing-
that it's to ransom a man's soul and not Wentworth Prison. I'm going to remember that forever.
you will. So
Me too,
I-
Julie.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. God damn it. I already
One
said
of
I'm sorry.
one of my entertainment comfort foods is the West Wing, as previously referenced by mentioning Amanda's amazingly named pets. And there are episodes of The West Wing I always skip, but I skip them because they're not good, not because they're upsetting.
Right.
And I think there are movies I will never see again, absolutely, but I think a TV show it maybe is different. Like I think you get the emotional experience as a whole, and you can't skip around to get those. Whereas I will always skip Isaac and Ishmael, Aaron Sorkin's episode that he wrote as a response to September 11th
9/11.
and sneaked in at the beginning of season 2, so it's not even in the show's chronology.
Yeah.
I will always skip that. I will always skip CJ goes to her high school reunion, has sex with a rando, and her dad has Alzheimer's. I will always skip that one. I will always skip the one that's a faux documentary about life in the White House. I will always skip that
Time
one.
some late season.
Yeah. Anyway,
Aaron paced and things got a little weird.
point is. I don't know why I said
Porn
porn.
is.
No.
What
Porn
is the
is
porn?
What is the
I'm
porn?
not sure. I would maybe watch it again, but not for years.
Yeah.
Years.
All right. So that's it, right?
Yeah.
Were we going to talk about Amanda
Can we-
and her
real
stuff?
quick.
Yes. Yeah.
Give us.
Can
Oh,
I
wait,
do
you
a
were
costume
saving-
rating? I did
Yes.
think of a costume.
Oh, please.
I was really concerned about the rating stuff, so I thought about it in advance.
Oh,
Okay,
good.
great.
Hit us.
Do it.
Okay. Do we need a scale, or can I just tell you what I think the costumes are on par
Okay,
with?
I'll give you a scale.
Yeah.
On a
We
scale.
know how connected they are.
So
So
I'm gonna do
at all.
I'm gonna focus on the pants. So I'm gonna go from oh God, what is the Amanda Bynes movie that's 12th Night?
she's the man.
On a scale,
Yes.
on a scale from She's the Man
A movie I actually love. It's good. Watch it.
to an actual real fancy production of 12th Night.
Like starring Mark Rylance as
Can you
Olivia.
not- okay,
Yes.
so I do think we are best friends because my actual answer that I have typed out is a really great production in college of 12th Night.
Yay!
That's wonderful.
So
That's great. It is totally college
Yeah.
where there's a lot
Like
of
a
money,
good
but
one.
not a lot of taste necessarily.
Like a smaller school that's not necessarily known for the drama program, but has like wealthy donors.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean?
Basically, my alma mater.
Me too.
Yeah, great.
Just kidding. OCU stars forever.
I was in a pretty bitchin' production of 12th Night in college.
Is that the
play?
photo of
I
you saw last night?
I played a gender bender. I was
violent? You festy.
Festy. No, I wasn't the clown. I was oh God, the little friend that like throws the letter at Malvolio. The little
Andrew Agucheek?
No, not him. One of the buddies though.
Toby?
with an F.
Sir Toby?
No,
Or Toby Belch.
no. It starts with an F. I can't believe I can't
Festy.
remember
That's
this.
the wrong
I
play.
wasn't Festy. Oh my God, Fabius, something.
You got to wear cute pants.
I had to be bound, but my
She's gesturing to her breasts. It wasn't a BDSM.
no, I was
version.
I was. My breasts were bound, and the woman who did our costumes, the woman who is the head of my college's costume department, is really good. And so it came in tight to the waist and then flared out like a little skirt, but then I had pants on underneath it. So it was all about, like, all the characters were gender bending like that.
Nice.
So
cool.
actually, I was in the production of 12th Night that
That
you're
I-
referencing right here.
That's amazing.
That's great. Well, hey, good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, the costumes are all right in this one, even if Claire does wear basically the same dress over and over.
We get to see
Jamie
some-
has that weird pillowcase outfit.
Yeah, the weird, like, long between
With the
the
thews.
loincloths. We get to see some thews. There's a lot of monk drag.
Yeah.
We get to see that.
We're all born naked and the rest is monk.
I just thought of Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah, that's basically where my head's at.
Yep.
What were the other? There was a jewel that you were saving from your parents for the
Yeah,
end.
hit us with your parent stuff to send us home.
To
My
send us
mom,
out.
in one of her many monologues about how wonderful Jamie is, he had left the room during the sex conversation, and I guess came back in. He was like letting dogs in and out of their house, kind of a thing. I don't know. And he walks in, and she's talking about Jamie, and she goes, "Yeah, he's just, he's a knight in shining armor. That's you, Papa."
Oh,
I was like,
God.
She's like, "That's you. You're my knight in shining armor."
Louder, Milks.
Oh.
Damn.
But hysterically, I was like, "No, Dad, Mom sees a lot of Jamie and you. Do you similarly see a lot of Claire and Mom?" And it was dead silent. And my mom laughs and she goes, "No."
Your mother would be a much better time traveler.
She loves the Scottish Highlands and Lowlands. So
Loves it all.
She would know a lot.
Well, I hope one day your parents get to have a nice role in the Heathens.
Heathcliff. All right, so that's
So,
the
what,
end.
Julie, what were we drinking tonight?
Oh, we were actually drinking the Singularity Oatmeal Stout from Empirical Brewery. Empirical Brewery, exploring the science of beer. Thanks again. You guys are the best.
It's delicious.
It's so good.
We need to thank all of our Patreon patrons. You guys are the best, especially Jedlander Drunklin.
I love you.
It makes me laugh every time. Now, we know her real name now. It's just the best. It stays this way.
She joined Twitter for us.
I know it's great.
It's fucked up.
And
It's actually Julie, everyone. I
and
just,
Beth.
It's just me.
Thank you so much. We also want to thank the rest of our Patreon patrons. You guys are great. And everyone who reviews us, it really does help the show. Please consider going and leaving a review on Twitter, or not Twitter. You can't review on Twitter. You just tweet on Twitter. Well, I'm so tired. iTunes or Stitcher or Google Play or wherever it is that you're listening. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/PodlanderCast. You can also follow us on Twitter at PodlanderCast. You cannot follow us on Instagram because we already share photos of Sam Heughan on Facebook. So what use would that be? You should just follow us on Facebook. You're Welcome Wednesday, every Wednesday. It starts nice conversations, I think.
I think it does.
I'm actually really impressed.
It's a dark time. We all need a little
This
fuse.
last one I felt pretty good about because it was just a smile. And
Oh, it's good.
Yeah,
That's a good
all I
smile.
want.
And you can follow our pal, Amanda Loudermilk, on Twitter at Meena10. That's MEENAH10. You can also catch her theater company, Adapt Theater Productions. They're doing a stage reading on March 6th at Lincoln Loft. You can get more information on that at adapttheater.com. That's only if you're in Chicago.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You know what else? If you're in
travel for
Chicago,
it.
you can come see us in Down in Front too, because Amanda and I both write for a movie riffing crew where we just sit around and make fun of movies like we're assholes. And on February the 14th, I will be riffing The Fly at North Bar. It's actually a really good movie. It's just disgusting. And then in April,
Yeah, we're riffing Empire Records, and the lineup's not set. Possible that Julie and I will be involved. One of us, maybe both of us, maybe
I
none
hope
of
so.
us.
You can catch updates for all of those at downinfrontlive.com. Thank you so much for listening. And congratulations, you got through 2 episodes that are really awful. I mean,
did it.
like really well made. But I mean, you got through it. So don't quit the show now. There's a great red dress coming.
ooh, and a hot Dick Fox.
Oh, Dick Fox headed your way. Monsieur Raymond is coming. We've got Wee Fergus. He's on the way. We've got some great Murtagh color. It's like being real grumpy and fuckable.
Excellent Duke of Sandringham action.
Yeah.
What's in store for the rest of season 1?
Oh, we'll get some more stuff out there before season 3 starts. So don't worry, you're not high and dry. We're going to do another season 1 wrap up where we do our silly awards, and that's going to be amazing. And then we're going to do what we hope to see from season 3. There are going to be 2 versions, a safe for people who haven't read the books version, and a probably shouldn't listen to this if you haven't read the books and don't want to be spoiled version. Julie and I will be splitting up for that one as she has not read the books. So we'll have guests on those. Those will be fun. And who the fuck knows? Maybe we'll do other things. Maybe we'll rate every...
Dudelander.
Oh, and Dudelander, right. Maybe we'll rate every character in Outlander by fuckability.
I could do that.
Number 1, Jenny Murray.
Number
Can
1.
Jenny be 1, 2, and
And
3?
3. Yes.
All right.
Number 4, Jamie.
Number 4, Murtagh.
Number 4 and 5 tied, Jamie and Murtagh.
Yeah.
Same time. Yeah.
Yeah. Woo! I like the way you're thinking.
That's ideal. Then probably Claire. Maybe Ned Gowan, change it up. No, Galis Duncan.
Yes, Galis.
Rupert's climbing the list. Frank, not the Beach, obviously.
No.
But Frank Dick Fox. Oh, a nice hate fuck.
He's higher up because that would be disgusting and awesome.
Yeah.
Woof.
King of France.
Yes.
Janine's cutting us off. We gotta go. Bye.
Bye.